this is Leah. I'm coming at you with Career Snapshot number 4, and I have the honor of interviewing Francisco Oller Garcia. Hi, how are you?
Hi, it's excited to be number 4, but number 1 in the hearts of people, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, I'm just so glad to talk with you. We've connected on LinkedIn, and your posts are just so inspirational and lovely, and your professional career is really interesting to me, and hopefully I think it will be to others, but also the reason that you came to it. So tell us a little bit about what you do.
Absolutely. So I work as a digital operations and marketing professional, and my work entails working with employers, consultants, and forward-thinking health insurance advisors to transform the idea of healthcare into an asset. And what that means is that healthcare and health insurance isn't just, a vehicle or an employee benefit as it's referred to, but it's a tangible way for employers to see how much they care, to kind of outwardly show how much they care for their employees by giving them access to the resources, treatments, and the different elements that will help them improve their health, but also improve it in such a way where it's sustainable and affordable for both the company and the employee.
And that seems like a really innovative way to look at health insurance. How do you feel about that?
It definitely is. I think it's the shift that we're seeing is that, health insurance isn't just something you use when you have something catastrophic occur, but something that you can use on a preventative basis. And I think that's been our largest focus, is showing that the biggest value driver and the biggest measure that you as a person can take is staying ahead of your health before it escalates and before it worsens, right? Because then we're being reactive instead of proactive, because health is it's kind of like a compounding effect, right? So our decisions day in and day out play a long-term role. So how do we incentivize that, and how do we make it easy for people to navigate and truly be consumers of healthcare? And I think that's the biggest thing, right? Is how do we take the complex and make it simple, but make it simple in such a way where people understand what is the decision that they're making, what is the quality of the provider or treatment center that they're seeking out, and how does that ultimately play a role in improving their health outcomes.
Yeah, and what you just said really resonated with me. I had a conversation recently with somebody who's a very educated, very smart person, and they were in the process of applying for Medicare and couldn't believe how complicated it was. Couldn't believe, how many times they had to reread documents. And so I think that that's such an important point, that it doesn't need to be that complicated. And how can you support people in getting the right care that they need? That's great. So tell us a little bit about the education that you needed to get where you are. And also, I know that you really come to this from a passionate place, from your personal experience. So if you can share a little bit about why you chose this career path.
Absolutely. So kind of to give a little bit of background. So I have both my undergrad and my Master of Business Administration with a concentration in marketing. And for me, this educational background, what it has led me is to use the power of storytelling when it comes to engaging with people and to really making them feel like a hero, right? So how can you make a person feel like they are the hero in their journey? Because they are, right? All we're doing in whatever industry you work for, ultimately your goal is to serve others, but serving others by giving them peace of mind, or by creating greater efficiencies in the work they do, and or giving them the systems and processes and technologies that lead to greater opportunities.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what my educational background has given me, is this mindset and this perspective of, through collaboration, we can accomplish greater, through, giving me the understanding that progress is sometimes a greater measurement than perfection. Because perfection, if something is perfect, then it doesn't leave you a lot of room for the learning and the understanding, because what is a breakthrough if not the accumulation of all the knowledge gained from previous attempts that didn't go the way we thought? So that's kind of the educational background, and I've supported that by taking different courses, both in courses and certifications, both in my chosen field of marketing, but also complementing that with industry expertise and taking it a level beyond by not just, reading on Google or reading on the industry leading publications, but also reaching out to people on LinkedIn and telling them, hey, you're a thought leader in the space. You're a change agent. I just recently started, and I think there's something I can learn from you. So there's kind of like a little bit of a pro tip hidden in here, right? When you ask somebody and you tell them, hey, I think you're important, and I think I can learn something from you.
Yeah.
Probably 9 times out of 10, the person will be excited to get on the phone.
That's so true. Yeah, I love that pro tip. That's great. And so what's the reasoning that you came to this career?
Excellent question. So, as a person born with a physical disability, I've had that personal element of trying to navigate the healthcare system, right? And now that I'm very familiar with and very understanding, now I know how expensive it can be if you don't go into it understanding that there may be hidden costs, that there may be a better place that you can get treatment, right? Just because something is expensive doesn't necessarily mean that you're getting the highest quality. So coming from that perspective and now understanding that, when I was younger, my parents probably faced a lot of bills that I was very fortunate in that they were able to afford it, right? But it's also understanding that there are a lot of factors right now that are compounding. We spend so much money on healthcare, and the kind of primary driving issue is that it's focused on the after the fact instead of giving people the mechanisms and resources to do it before. So it's a very reactive system instead of being a proactive system, just because it's changed, but it hasn't changed that much since it began. So having that experience and understanding that 66.6% of all bankruptcies in the United States are tied to medical bills. And that's
crazy.
And what's crazy about that, right, is that if people don't get the care and the treatment they need, then this escalates. But the problem is that you have something that you can't use because it may bankrupt you. So there's kind of that duality that I'm working day in and day out to really change, but changing it in a way that's a collaborative effort, because changing healthcare or changing any, creating a movement isn't just about you. It's about creating a legacy and also creating collaboration so that it sustains itself.